You are standing in the center of a village as the sun drops below the horizon. In 15 minutes, it will be completely dark. There will be no streetlights, no porch lights, no glow from windows. The darkness will be total, the kind of darkness that makes you invisible to someone standing 3 feet away. This is not a power outage. This is not temporary. This is every night. And yet the village does not stop. People still cook. They still eat. Children still play for a while longer. Stories are still told. Work is prepared for tomorrow. Life continues, but it continues differently. Everything that happens after sunset happens by firelight, by moonlight, or by the small glow of a lamp if oil can be spared. The day does not gently extend into night, it ends. And you adapt to that ending, or you do not survive. For thousands of years, and in many places still today, people across Africa have lived without electricity. No lights, no refrigeration, no fans, no phones charging overnight, no radios unless they are battery-powered and batteries are expensive, no electric pumps for water, no machines to make work easier. What they have is fire, daylight, human labor, animal labor where animals can be kept, and a structure of daily life built entirely around the presence and absence of the sun. This is not poverty, though outsiders often see it that way. This is a functional system. It has rules, it has rhythms, it has knowledge embedded in every part of it, and it works because it has to. Begin with light, because the absence of electric light changes everything. When the sun sets, visibility drops to nearly nothing unless the moon is bright. A new moon means darkness so complete you cannot see your hand in front of your face. A full moon provides enough light to walk, to work outside, to see shapes and movement. The moon cycle determines what is possible at night. Tasks that require precision, that require seeing detail, are scheduled for daylight or for nights when the moon is full. Tasks that can be done by feel or by memory happen in darkness. Fire provides light, but fire is not free. It requires fuel. Wood, as we have discussed, must be gathered. Oil for lamps must be purchased or rendered from plants or animals. A lamp is a simple thing. A shallow dish or container, oil or melted fat inside. A wick made from twisted fiber or cloth. The wick draws the oil up and burns. The flame is small. It lights a radius of a few feet. It flickers, it smokes, but it allows you to see enough to cook, to eat, to do close work for a short time. Oil is conserved. You do not burn a lamp all night. You light it when needed and extinguish it when the task is done. Some households use candles where they are available, but candles are expensive. Homemade candles can be made from beeswax or animal fat, but this requires resources and labor. Most families rely on firelight from the cooking fire and small oil lamps. The fire used for cooking serves double duty. It cooks food and provides light. After the meal is prepared, the fire is kept burning low while people eat, while they sit and talk. When it is time to sleep, the fire is allowed to die to coals or is extinguished entirely to conserve fuel. Without electric light, the day's rhythm is dictated by the sun. You wake at dawn or before. First light is when work begins. There is no lying in bed. Daylight is limited and must be used. Morning tasks start immediately. Water is fetched from the well or river. Fires are built. Breakfast is cooked. Fields are tended. Animals are let out to graze. Repairs are made. Food is prepared. Every task that requires seeing clearly is done during daylight hours. The middle of the day, when the sun is high and the heat is most intense, activity slows in hot climates. People rest in the shade. Work continues, but at a slower pace. This is not laziness. It is adaptation. Working hard in extreme heat without the ability to cool down is dangerous. You conserve energy. You wait for the cooler hours of late afternoon when work can resume at full effort. As the sun begins to drop, the pace quickens. There are things that must be finished before dark. Animals must be brought in and secured. Cooking for the evening meal must be completed while there is still light to gather ingredients, to see what you are doing. Water for the night and the next morning must be fetched. Firewood for tomorrow must be brought in. Tools must be stored. Children must be called back from playing. Everything that will be needed after sunset must be prepared before it arrives, because once it is dark, moving around becomes difficult and dangerous. After sunset, activity contracts. People stay close to home. The fire becomes the center. Families gather around it. The evening meal is eaten. Conversations happen. Elders tell stories. Children listen. This is how knowledge is passed down. There are no books for most people. No written records. History, technique, morality, culture, all of it is transmitted orally in the hours after dark when there is nothing else to do but talk and listen. Work that can be done by firelight continues. Baskets are woven. Tools are sharpened. Grain is sorted. Clothing is mended. These are tasks that do not require bright light, that can be done by feel as much as by sight. Hands stay busy, but precision work, anything that requires fine detail, waits for morning. Sleep comes earlier than in electrified societies. There is no reason to stay awake, no television, no lights to read by for most, no social media. When you are tired and it is dark, you sleep. Most people are asleep within a few hours of sunset. They wake early, often before dawn, because the rhythm of work starts again as soon as there is enough light to see. This schedule is not optional. It is enforced by the absence of light. You cannot fight it. You can burn oil or candles to extend your waking hours slightly, but fuel is limited and expensive. Most nights, you simply accept that darkness means rest. Water is another system shaped entirely by the absence of electricity. There are no electric pumps. Water comes from wells, from rivers, from springs, from rainwater collection. It must be carried by hand. This is labor. It is usually the work of women and girls. A clay pot or plastic jerry can is filled, lifted onto the head, and carried back to the home. Depending on the distance to the water source, this can take minutes or hours. A household needs water for drinking, for cooking, for washing. The amount needed is substantial. Multiple trips are often necessary. Wells are dug by hand, a deep hole, sometimes 30 or 40 feet down to the water table. The walls are lined with stones to prevent collapse. A rope and bucket are used to draw water up. You lower the bucket, let it fill, pull it up hand over hand. This is tiring. If the well is deep, pulling up a full bucket requires strength. Children learn to do this young. By the time they are adolescents, they can manage it alone. In the dry season, wells run low. You have to lower the bucket farther. Sometimes wells dry up completely, and people must walk to more distant sources. Water becomes scarce. It is rationed. Washing is reduced. Cooking uses less water. Every drop is conserved because replacing it requires labor and time. Rivers and springs are easier in some ways. The water is on the surface, you fill your container directly, but rivers can be far from the village. The walk there and back, carrying a heavy load, is exhausting, and river water is not always clean. It must be boiled or filtered if possible. Boiling requires fuel, which requires more labor. This is the cascade. Every necessity depends on another necessity. Rainwater, when it falls, is collected. Gutters made from split bamboo or metal channel water from roofs into large containers. Clay pots, barrels, tanks if they can be afforded. Rainwater is cleaner than river water and does not require the labor of fetching. But rain is seasonal. In the dry months there is no rain. The collected water runs out. You return to wells and rivers. Food storage without refrigeration shapes what people eat and when. Fresh food spoils quickly. Meat, as we have discussed, is preserved by drying or smoking. Milk in pastoral communities is consumed fresh or fermented into a product that lasts longer. Vegetables are eaten soon after harvest or dried for later use. Meals are planned around what is available now, not what you might want later. There is no saving leftovers in a refrigerator. Food is cooked and eaten the same day. What is not eaten is fed to animals or discarded because by tomorrow it will be spoiled. This means shopping or gathering or harvesting happens frequently. You do not buy food for the week. You buy or harvest for the day or for the next few days. Markets happen on specific days. People walk to the market, buy what they need, carry it back. If you raise your own food, you harvest as you need it. Greens are picked in the morning for the evening meal. Tubers are dug up when you plan to cook them. Grain is stored as we discussed, but fresh food is used immediately. Without refrigeration, there is also no cold water. Water is the temperature of the air or the ground it is stored in. In hot climates, this means warm water. Cool water is a luxury available only if you store it in porous clay pots that cool through evaporation, or if you draw it fresh from a deep well where the temperature underground is cooler than the surface. Cold drinks do not exist. If you drink water that is warm or tepid, you get used to it. Communication without electricity is face-to-face or carried by messengers. There are no phones. If you need to tell someone something, in another village you walk there or you send someone. News travels slowly. A death, a birth, an event. It spreads by word of mouth. Someone tells someone who tells someone else. By the time information reaches distant villages, days or weeks may have passed. This isolation is normal. You do not expect to know immediately what is happening elsewhere. You know what happens in your village and in nearby villages. The rest is distant and less relevant. Drumming in some cultures carries messages. Different rhythms convey different meanings. A death, a celebration, a warning. The drums can be heard for miles. They are faster than a runner but limited in the complexity of what they can communicate. They announce. They do not explain. Entertainment is communal and participatory. There is no watching television or movies. There is singing, dancing, storytelling, games, music made with drums, with stringed instruments with voices. These happen in the evenings around the fire or during festivals and ceremonies. Everyone participates or everyone watches. There is no passive consumption. If you want music, someone must make it. If you want a story, someone must tell it. Children play outside until dark. They invent games with whatever is available. Balls made from bundled rags, dolls made from sticks and cloth, races, contests, imagination. They are not supervised constantly. They play in groups, watch out for each other, come home when called or when it gets dark. Work is manual. Plowing is done by hand, with a hoe or with an animal pulling a simple plow. Planting is done by hand. Weeding is done by hand. Harvesting is done by hand. Threshing, winnowing, all by hand. There are no machines. Labor is provided by human muscles and sometimes by animals. Oxen, donkeys, horses where they can survive the climate. They pull plows, carry loads, provide transportation, but they must be fed, watered, cared for. They get sick, they die. They are not reliable machines. They are living things with needs. Construction is manual. Homes are built by hand. Clay is dug, mixed, shaped into bricks, or applied wet to a wooden frame. Roofs are thatched by hand, each bundle of grass tied in place. Floors are packed earth, smoothed and hardened. There are no power tools. No saws beyond hand saws. No drills beyond hand drills. Everything takes longer, but labor is abundant. Family members help. Neighbors help. Building a house is a communal effort. It takes weeks or months, but when it is done, it is yours. Healthcare without electricity is limited. There are no hospitals with imaging machines, with ventilators, with electric monitors. There are clinics in some areas, staffed by nurses or traditional healers. They rely on basic supplies, bandages, simple medicines if available. Knowledge of plants and their properties. Many illnesses are treated at home, with remedies passed down through generations. Some work, some do not. Serious injuries or illnesses often mean death because there is no way to treat them. Infection, childbirth complications, snake bites, severe malaria, these can be fatal. People die from things that would be survivable with modern medicine. This is accepted as part of life. You do what you can. You hope, you survive, or you do not. Infant mortality is high. Not every child survives. Diseases that are preventable with vaccines, with clean water, with proper nutrition, these kill children. Parents know this. They have more children expecting that some will not make it. This is not callousness, it is realism. You love your children, and you do what you can to keep them alive, but you also know the odds. Education happens informally for most. Children learn by watching adults. They learn to farm by working in the fields. They learn to cook by helping with meals. They learn to build by participating in construction. They learn stories, songs, history by listening to elders. Some villages have schools, often run by missionaries or by the government if the village is not too remote. School happens during the day in a building with no electricity. Lessons are written on a chalkboard if there is one. Students use slates or paper if it is available. Learning is by repetition, by memorization, by recitation. Teachers rely on discipline and on the desire of students to learn. There are no computers, no projectors, no electric lights if the classroom is dark. Teaching happens in daylight or not at all. Timekeeping is approximate. There are no clocks for most people. Time is measured by the sun's position, by the routines of the day, by events. Morning is when the sun rises. Midday is when it is overhead. Evening is when it begins to set. Night is after dark. Precision is unnecessary. Meetings happen in the morning, not at 9 o'clock. Work starts at dawn, not at a specific time. Meals happen when they are ready. This fluidity works because everyone operates on the same system. No one is late because there is no exact time to be late to. Seasons matter more than hours. The rhythm of life follows the rains. The wet season is for planting and growing. The dry season is for harvesting and preserving. Festivals and ceremonies are tied to agricultural cycles, planting rituals, harvest celebrations. These mark time in a way that is more meaningful than dates on a calendar. Community is essential. Without institutions, without services, without infrastructure, survival depends on cooperation. You help your neighbor build a house because someday you will need help building yours. You share food in times of plenty because in times of scarcity you will need others to share with you. You watch each other's children. You help with labor-intensive tasks. You participate in communal work, building wells, clearing paths, maintaining shared spaces. This is not altruism. It is insurance. It is survival strategy. Isolation is dangerous. Community is safety. Conflict is managed locally. There is no police force, no court system in most villages. Disputes are settled by elders, by community leaders, by consensus. Someone steals, someone causes harm. The village deals with it. Punishments are decided collectively. Restitution is enforced by social pressure. Ostracism is a powerful tool. In a small community where you depend on others, being cut off is devastating. So people abide by the norms. They resolve conflicts because they have to continue living together. What is striking about all of this is the integration. Every part of life connects to every other part. The absence of electricity does not just mean no lights. It means a completely different structure of time, of labor, of social organization, of diet, of health, of communication. You cannot simply remove electricity from a modern life and expect it to function. The entire system has to change, and that system, built over generations, is sophisticated. It is resilient. It works without inputs from the outside world, without supply chains, without technology. But it is also hard. The labor is relentless. The hours are long. The margin for error is thin. A drought, a failed harvest, a serious illness. These can be catastrophic. There is no safety net. No government assistance reaching remote villages. No insurance. You survive on what you can produce and on the willingness of your community to help. When that is not enough, people go hungry. People die. Yet they persist. Villages continue. Children are born. Crops are planted. Fires are lit every morning. Water is carried. Meals are cooked. Stories are told. Life goes on without electricity, without the things we consider essential. It goes on because people make it go on, because they have the knowledge and the discipline and the cooperation to make it work. And when you stand in that village at night, in the darkness, with only the glow of cooking fires in the distance, you realize how much of modern life is insulation. Insulation from darkness, from heat, from cold, from hunger, from uncertainty. We have built systems that protect us from the immediate consequences of our environment. They have not. They live directly with those consequences. They manage them every day. You wonder if we could do it. If the systems we rely on failed, if the electricity stopped and did not come back, whether we would know how to live without it, whether we would have the skills, the knowledge, the discipline, the willingness to work as hard as necessary. Most of us would not. We have traded that knowledge for convenience. We have gained much. But we have lost something too. They have not lost it. They still know how to live when the sun goes down and the darkness comes. They know how to continue. They do it every single night.